I want to get right into the BOSU ball. Okay. It is something I've used for years before. Actually, let's rewind really quick. Our first interaction, okay, on Twitter, I had a gate question about a baseball player, and you had kind of gave me this elaborate response, and I'm like, whoa, like, who is this guy? I have no idea. And then a couple.
I made a video to respond to that.
Yeah, it was great. Was it Allison Felix or?
Yes, that is pretty elaborate, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like, whoa, okay, this is helpful. And then, a week later, you visit my head coach, Tony Holler, at a clinic. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I asked him, I was like, who's this David guy? And what is he about? And he just told me, oh, he invented the BOSU ball.
Can you share some of the things that Tony may have said just to describe or give you an idea? Like any tidbits that were funny?
I will say, I know that your car was full of energy drinks.
Oh, well, no, it was filled with empty drinks.
Empty energy drinks.
So the listeners can understand, there was probably $20 in nickels on the velour. I mean, it's ridiculous, clinging and clanging. There's no room for your feet.
It's a construction of chaos. I mean.
But it's the chaos of creation is what I call it. I'm very comfortable in a mess that is my own. And I'm divorced. I go over to my kid's house where my ex-wife, who's we still love each other, still best friends. The kids are the priority. And, I go home and I go to sleep here at night is the way it works. So my life is my work and my children. And that is all my life. So I had fun when I was in my 20s, but I knew I wanted to be a father. I want to be a responsible father, right? And education is the key. A human brain, okay? We still got no clue what the hell the human brain can do, right? Because it only can use the software that it understands now, okay? And what I feel is that the way that we can manage this time and place that we're in, the circumstances, is a restoration of fundamental physical education that harkens back to survival when it was walking and running and swinging and throwing and catching and carrying, those like functional tasks, and the manipulation of the tools, the stick, the stone, the rope. And the rope is like... The rope can tie everything together. 8-year-olds can do it. 80-year-olds can do it. Your post-NEOP can do it. And you get good on the beat. And you control the beat. Jumping rope is amazing. It is syncopated. You are to float like the butterfly, right? You don't want your center of mass to change. You want your feet to change in certain circumstances. As a sprinter and athlete, you want your center of mass to move, right? It is the wide receiver that does use a speed ladder productively, very productive for your Ocho Cinco. You love the tool because you got the best feet. You got the best feet. You see, I just want to dispel all myths in training because I do know best. And I would like you to take us on this journey because I feel so blessed to have met Tony Holler that night. In all the days of his life, that night will stand out as one of the, it's in the top. It's in the top. However many kids he got, it's in the top 10.
It is for sure.
And then we're so different. And he's retired. He's did it. So he has a protege that we talk on the phone for 6 hours on the first time we meet each other. That is fate and destiny smiling, okay?
Yep.
And you're athletic enough that when we have a video call and I say bing and you go bing and you had just done this and now you did that and you're like, okay. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. That's the beauty is
You can
because I have
verify
been,
it.
well, I have, because I'm somebody who believes that you need to definitely evaluate yourself before you teach others certain things, right? So I use my body as a test, you know,
Yes.
in hopes that I can portray it better to somebody else to then be able to coach it, right? So again, I experiment on myself with diet. I experiment every physical exercise, um, fasting, just so I have an idea. Obviously, everybody's different, but at least I could share my experience to maximize any athlete or any, you know, buddy I'm trying to elevate. Um, but the BOSU ball is very interesting
Yes.
because, like I said, I didn't know you. I didn't know that you were the creator of it. It's the greatest fitness piece of equipment in terms of rehab, strength, functional movement. It has it all. And for some reason, a lot of people view you and your one of the greatest of inventions as just not fair in my eyes. Um, so, what I guess my question is, you know, why? Again, we could talk about egos, right? You know, the S&C coaches' egos, but what do you want people to know about WeckMethod in itself? Explain your head over foot first, and then the utilization of both sides up BOSU ball.
Okay. So when calories were precious, movement economy was the priority. Efficient movement was attenuated by itself. There was no instruction necessary. In the same way that a human being now learns to speak via this osmotic mirror neuron, positive, negative feedback loops, the neural engram, the convolutions in your brain that, you know, work with your tongue is about like the convolution that work with your hands. All right. So that's a clue that, you know, okay, we want to organize, right? These organs right here are the richest in terms of the relationship of the brain, right? That sort of motor sensory cortices, right? Womp, right there in the middle. It's the BOSU ball in your brain, right? And so BOSU, when I fell off a stability ball and I'm like, oh, I'm going to break my neck. And I'm like, what if I cut it in half? And I'm like, I'm going to be a millionaire. And then I built a prototype. Me and my dad, we look at it. You're like, dude, we did it. And so my first sale was to the U.S. ski team. Then I did the Yankees. Then I did the Lakers. Then I did the Devils. I didn't care who it was. Listen, I would go in and I'd be like, listen, I'm going to show you some things to do with this and show you its potential. And you're going to tell me if you want to buy it. Okay. And I'm not going to charge you now. And you can keep it for as long as you like. And if you ever want to return it, I'll give you your money back. All right. And I sold it every time. And the instability, you know, craze was at a peak at that point. So the peer pressure on a lot of the industry at that time was to be receptive to the instability, right? It was the avant-garde or the Reebok core board. Now, the strong guys, like the Louis Simmons guys, they're in their own lane and they don't give a shit about what anybody else is doing. Okay, so they don't criticize anybody, Louis Simmons guys, all right? They beat each other up in their own little ring, right, to be world-class legend, and he literally does not think about anybody else. He doesn't care because they're not as good as him. That's his world, right? So with the BOSU ball, the only people like that would like hate it, we have to start asking like a question, like, why do you hate it?
Yep,
Like,
exactly.
what did it do? Like, wait, what did it do? Let's unpack it a little bit. It's an interesting thing. And it's been it's been a massive motivator for me because unfairness and bullying is a massive issue for me. Like, I put my foot down at bullying and I'll die, right? You got to kill me. I'm the wrong guy to pick because I will, I will not.
Let's imagine somebody else created it, right?
With the BOSU ball?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, listen, if certain people created it, oh my God, dude. Now, I'm going to give you some mathematical figures out there, okay? If if a BOSU ball costs 100, okay, I'm going to get a healthy little chunk that's not 2 digits, but it's only 1 away, right? It's a lot of money. And 60,000 BOSU balls over 70 years is 1 million BOSU balls. And 1 million BOSU balls really isn't that many BOSU balls if you think about it. So how many BOSU balls haven't been sold because Brad Schoenfeld, the fellow at the NCAA or NSCA, posts on his social 9,000. Well, I'm exaggerating, 8,700 likes. I don't know how long it took to get there, but he has a lot of people thinking about that thing at the same time. It's very rare that I get 9,000 likes on a post that I do. And my audience isn't certified people who pay me for permission. Mm-hmm. If you want to advance your career in training, you go to NCAA, but you can't get into NCAA unless you go to NSCA or CSCS. Look up CrossFit versus NSCA. Do your homework. You read the story.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, we have to ask questions because to attack people online with the intent to harm is sort of like, no wonder the fitness industry is not doing a good job. If we look at the fitness there's a lot of competing factors, like, big food, big tech, that there's a lot of bad shit happening. And it's like Rocky, dude, 2024, this is like, oh my God, man, we're penting up a truth wave. Yep. It's like the Fosbury flop. It took 8 years. 8 years to say, okay, I'll do better. You know what I mean? So the rejection to me is preposterous. Okay. I would laugh at the rejection and probably even I don't know. I wouldn't have discovered what I discovered without them.